Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing fine today. Hope the markets are treating you good so far. Pretty crazy market so far. How everyone's doing? Let me know in the chats if you guys can hear me. Thomas, brother, how you doing? Let me know if you guys can hear me. If you can see me, all right. If the screen is okay, so we can go ahead and start with today's session. All right. Let me check something if everything is running fine on our end. All right. Good morning, brother. Thanks for being here. What's up, John? It's good. All right, guys. So it seems that everything is all right. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know in the chats if everything is okay and you guys can hear me, okay? So we can go ahead and start. Okay, waiting for you on the chats, guys. Let me know if you guys can hear me good. Pretty clear. Thank you, brother. All right. Let's go ahead and start. So, the markets have been pretty wild lately, starting from, it's not really only about this weekend's US attack on Iran, but all of the things that took us here, essentially, that have made markets pretty damn crazy. We can see Bitcoin. I'm kind of surprised of Bitcoin reaction, to be honest. Um, Body man, is there any giveaway? We might do it. What do you guys think? We might do a giveaway today. We can definitely do it. Let me ask for HyroTrader team and I will let you know, guys. But definitely, hey Jason, hope you're doing fine, brother. Thanks for joining. So I was telling you guys, markets have been crazy, but I'm quite surprised about Bitcoin reaction, to be honest. It's accumulating. The range is extremely and pretty clear. So, um, but we can see other assets like gold, like silver, equities indices, FX, even oil, obviously reacting extremely fast to this news. And to be honest, this is what we are going to see today. We're kind of going to do a macro outlook of what's happening in the markets, at least on middle time frames and higher time frames, to see if there's a swing trading opportunity much more than actually just go ahead and scalp Bitcoin. Because to be honest, I'm not interested in trading Bitcoin at the moment. It's pretty much sideways. There's not clear trend. If you go long, the market starts pushing lower. If you go short, the market starts pushing higher. So I'm not really interested in trading Bitcoin. If there is going to be an opportunity, possibly on altcoins, and we're going to definitely do it. All right. So let's let me ask the Hire Trader team for the giveaway. We most likely do it. Going to guys. All right. So I will start looking at Bitcoin dominance. Okay. Very important chart. Very stagnant chart, to be honest. The previous, well, we have been consolidating inside this lower high, lower low range that you can clearly see here. So this is not a monthly level, so this is a weekly. Okay, so weekly volume level, pretty clear consolidation. We have been rounding up between the range lows, range highs over here. Nothing much, nothing more interesting than this. So in terms of Bitcoin dominance, as long as it remains stagnant inside this range, there's going to be some opportunities on certain altcoins that are showcasing higher open interest. And what I mean by that is higher volume, higher liquidity coins that might move without the need of Bitcoin actually moving, because in this consolidation in which Bitcoin is currently at, it give us room, it give us some room for people to start deviating their attention into altcoins, right? So to be honest, in Bitcoin dominance, there's not much else to see. We can go into the daily chart. The daily chart is kind of the same, to be honest. It recently shifted this. Check something. So we had here. Yeah, we don't. There's not much to say on Bitcoin dominance on the daily chart other than it had recently shifted. Market structure over here, 1 to 3. Yeah, it's currently trading within this range. I would say this range is going to be the most important daily one. That basically what it's letting us know within the weekly range. If we go to the weekly chart, so for example, put weekly here and daily here, is that as long as we remain inside this, the only two important levels for the weekly chart is going to be either a rejection or breakout from here, or a rejection or breakout from here. So anything happening inside this weekly range, right, on Bitcoin dominance is not as important. Why is that? Wait, let me put this on the daily as well so you guys can see the weekly range inside the daily. So when is going to be a red flag for altcoins, for example, if we decline through here and reject, because that's essentially meaning that we are heading towards the range highs, meaning that Bitcoin dominance is going to push higher. Now, when it's going to be very good for altcoins is if we push higher and then essentially reject this level, because essentially it's telling us, the market is telling us that we are going lower, right? But within this range, we are just trading inside these micro daily range formations that right now essentially is telling us that Bitcoin dominance might be declining a little bit more, taking into consideration the lower high, the current lower high, and the current lower low that we are dealing with, right? It also going to depend if we actually reject this range high level, but also we can set this. I don't like this doing on like these kind of charts because they're not tradable, right? But the weekly volume profile is currently letting us know that the market might be heading higher towards this value area high, right? We're currently trading within the high range, the high volume node, heading towards the volume profile, value area high, point of control, rejecting value area low. So there might be something interesting if we go towards the 4 hour chart. Pretty much consolidation happening, not much to see, to be honest. So I wouldn't pay attention to Bitcoin dominance right now, other than we might see an influx of Bitcoin dominance pushing up towards the value area high on the daily chart. Okay, even if the weekly hasn't even reject 57.69 level, which is the one that I'm currently looking for right now. Okay, let's go to USDT dominance plus USDC dominance, which is one of the most important charts for me to look for. So currently we are kind of dealing within this bullish market structure. Okay, this is going to be the weekly lower higher low, sorry, weekly higher high over here, and previously we had this weekly higher high and this weekly higher low. All right, that means that essentially we are trading within bullish market structure on USDT plus USDC dominance. All right, this is essentially, this is an FTR setup that we might be looking at right now. This B level zone, so this is a B level zone, which can also be considered an FTR. FTRs are essentially just failure to return areas in which we used to be, okay, if we check the previous market structure, we used to be within this range, okay, which were was actually highlighting a lower high and a lower low. This was the range we were trading from, right? Then we had this breakout, and this breakout is essentially building this consolidation that essentially everyone was looking for shorts. Okay, everyone was looking for resistance on USDT, USDC dominance, essentially putting their money into altcoins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., and was bringing some bearish pressure to the dominance of the stable coins. Right. What is happening here is that this zone will eventually either help us determine if the trend is going to continue or the trend is going to essentially shift. And why is that? Because the market eventually might come to this level, and a rejection from this level will actually confirm the trend, the overall trend on USDT dominance. Okay, a rejection from this level is going to be extremely important. Now, what I'm looking at right now is we either push higher, right? Reject the previous higher high and then continue lower to test the range lows. Where my perspective is that we are going to actually push from there. Now, it's not necessary that we reject this level to go lower. We can actually start going lower from here and then a continuation higher. Now, if this scenario happens, then we're going to have two type of scenarios on Bitcoin that we're going to check, and with those scenarios, we're going to be able to determine the direction of certain altcoins that we might be able to see setups with. Okay, so all right, so the giveaway has been confirmed, guys. We're going to do the giveaway at the end of the stream, right? So stay sharp, stay here. We're going to be giving up some challenges for you guys, for the guys that are being active on the chats, all right? So I'm going to stay looking at the charts, looking at the chats. If you guys are being active enough, then I might give you the accounts, all right? Jason, do you trade this with Hyro? No, brother. Actually, these are my kind of analytic charts for crypto. So Bitcoin dominance, USDT, USDC dominance, to understand what might be the underlying trend for Bitcoin and altcoins. But you cannot trade this specifically. It's just like a macro analytic chart. Okay. Um, yes, Darian, exactly. It's only crypto futures. All right. So, and you can do futures with Hyro. We can actually do futures with Hyro. You can trade perpetual futures either on Bybit or on CLEO, which is connected to Binance perpetuals. All right. So we do futures, but you cannot trade USDT dominance and you cannot trade Bitcoin dominance. I don't think in any exchange, to be honest. There might be some exchanges that you might be able to trade on these tickers, but I use them specifically for analytics and understanding the underlying trend. Daily scroll stopper. Do you make a living off trading? Actually, yes, brother. I started trading about 7 to 8 years ago. I started being profitable around 2 or 3 years ago. I was profitable before trading gold and oil. I was a TradFi trader mostly. And then I transitioned it to crypto because I thought it was more kind of my style. Don't get me wrong, I still trade gold, I still trade oil, and that's one good thing that I wanted to share with you guys today. So, if you guys are into TradFi as well, you can also trade gold using either Bybit with HyroTrader or CLEO with HyroTrader. So, essentially, if you are trading on Bybit, you can trade gold by using this ticker over here, which is XAUT, all right, USDT perpetuals. You can trade gold directly inside Bybit, and you can trade gold and pass a HyroTrader challenge by trading gold itself. If you're going to use CLEO instead, you can use PAXG, which is a ticker, which is a token that actually reflects and tracks gold ETFs, CME futures, and some spot CFDs. All right, so If you are a gold trader, you can go ahead and trade these assets. I would what I'm actually doing with gold is I'm analyzing the gold's future charts. Okay, if I'm going to trade gold, I'm going to use the futures charts. But then if I'm going to open a position on gold on HyroTrader, then I'm either using PAXG or XAUT USDT perpetual futures for trading gold on Bybit specifically. All right. Simon, do you consider liquidations from Glassnode? I don't use liquidations, brother. I use my own technical analysis to understand where might all of these kind of liquidation levels might be at. Okay. I have seen some people using liquidations either from Glassnode, either from CoinGlass, many charts to look from liquidations, and it's helpful. I have seen it on Twitter that people are telling like, here's a lot of liquidation clusters where the price might be hit. It essentially price goes there and it rejects it or it breaks through. So they might be helpful as long as they are not bringing too much noise to your strategy. For me, they are not necessary. Okay. What would be the capital of the giveaway account? So essentially, we will be giving away, brother, 3 accounts for 5K challenges for today. All right. That would be it. All right. Let's continue. So I was telling you guys that essentially looking at this scenario on USDT, USDC dominance, essentially what there's going to be two type of scenarios that we will be looking at Bitcoin. All right. So in terms of Bitcoin, let's go through a quickly analysis on it. So essentially the monthly chart recently closed one pretty strong bearish candle below the previous structural level that it's currently extremely important for Bitcoin monthly chart, which is around the 76K 500, right? This is the last kind of higher low that Bitcoin built on the monthly chart, obviously taking us to the higher high around at around 123K. Okay. Now, does this mean that we are having a market structure shift, a price structure shift? Not really under my personal trading strategy, because we require at least 3 candles to consider a market structure shift and avoid false breakouts. Okay. So right now it's detrimental for the chart staying below 76K. Yes, because it adds up to the bearishness, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we cannot have, for example, on the next quarter, one candle and then the third candle retrieving this range, marking actually absolutely Bitcoin bottom for this cycle. All right. If we have this kind of three-way monthly candles retrieving the range, this would absolutely, for me at least, mark the bottom for Bitcoin on this cycle. All right. That might happen, that might not happen. We don't know because we're still 2 months away from now actually knowing that. Okay. All right. Do you limit yourself to only one or two strategies, or do you have a combination of different strategies? So, battle. So essentially, I use kind of the same strategy in order to determine in which direction I want to trade. Okay. But I use different setups that might appear on the market. One of those setups is the over and under setup, Quasimodo setup. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It's pretty similar to a head and shoulder, but it actually works a little bit different. But it's pretty similar in terms of price action. I also use the order blocks or cluster formations. Okay, I don't use specifically the order block formations that are taught in, for example, SMC or ICT concepts. I understand that clusters can be accumulation of candles or accumulation of price action in certain price areas, not necessarily looking at a certain candle itself. Okay, that's important for me at least. I also use three drive patterns. I use failure to return patterns. So these kind of patterns are very linked up to auction market theory and also to order flow patterns. And I trade them. So even though I use one system to identify the trend and in which direction I want to trade, that doesn't mean that I can use different trading setups to look for price patterns in order to get into the market. All right. Um, JKT trades crypto. Yo, what's up, brother? How you doing? Okay, so let's continue. Monthly chart. It's still bullish, all right, because this structure hasn't been invalidated yet, but we need to be careful here. Now, it's important to showcase the volume profile from here to here in order to know. We are going to put this on the weekly chart because this is actually easier to see, and also the VWAP for this range. Also on the weekly chart, let's go to the weekly. All right, so the weekly is telling us the following. So we are currently outside of the value area. We were outside of the value area for a couple weeks, couple months actually, before going down. All of this not continuation outside of the value area took us down into value area low right now. All right, right now what actually Bitcoin is telling us is that we are trading outside of the value area, making it more likely for a continuation lower. Okay, because we are breaking down. Now the BWAP from the monthly range is actually telling us that the BWAP is going lower, meaning that essentially the trend is heading lower. And if we see the price action trend on Bitcoin from the weekly perspective, sorry, it's also building us a lower low and a lower high. Okay, it's also building this kind of lower low, lower high structure. Now we might have a zone here that might get respected, yes, because this zone is built by the previous weekly lower low that has been already broken. We have one, two, three, four, five candles closing below this level. So essentially, we have a new structural level. But this particular level is building a zone with the current value area low of the Monday range. So this zone is also confluent, if you can see this, with this low volume node. Okay, with this overall low volume node that price might reject in the near future. All right. And this B level over here, which is highlighting the lower high, is confluent with the BWAP and is also confluent with this low volume node. So these are the two main rejection zones for Bitcoin if we are going higher, right? If we are going higher, then essentially you can expect a rejection from here or a straight breakout, all right? If we have some fundamental pushing price up, or you can expect a rejection or obviously a breakout from here, okay? Now, the most important support for Bitcoin on the weekly chart is going to be this one. All right, this is actually located at 59,800. So round number is also good. It's making it powerful, and right now we are essentially trading within this zone and this support level, which is essentially the B level lower low. All right. Hamza, we are going to go through it. That's for sure, brother. So, what I wanted to share with you guys is my thoughts on the market because right now trading is extremely dangerous, guys. Right now, trading is extremely dangerous with what's happening with U.S., Iran, Israel, what Iran is doing with oil prices just spiking up the roofs, volatility on gold, volatility on silver, volatility on stock indices. We are in a risk off environment, guys. And this risk off environment is actually pushing into the charts by possibly gold keep pushing higher, silver keeps pushing higher, oil keeps pushing higher. If if this commodity is going to continue to push higher, there's no room for Bitcoin to actually go higher. Okay. And if we are on a risk-off environment, we're going to see equities indices like the S&P 500, like the Nasdaq, like the Dow Jones, building top formations that are going to eventually end up on pushing lower. And this bearishness coming from the equities markets is going to definitely affect on crypto. Okay. Oil just 5% up, yes, but for oil to move 5% is a big deal, brother. And analysts are expecting even higher prices if Iran war keeps delaying. Because Trump talked about war with Iran, that it might be a, an instant war, like full power into Iran, and Iranians are going to say like, okay, sorry for all that we have done, take our country, like that's Trump thing, and now he's telling, I know, like Iran war is going to be at least 4 weeks. And yesterday, I think like the Prime Minister of Israel, it's telling us that it's even going longer than that. So all of this is adding uncertainty to the markets. And what Israel and what actually Iran is doing is attacking all of Middle East countries where US embassies are located, which is definitely not good. And by closing the Hormuz stretch, right, it's adding even more uncertainty to what might happen to US oil and to overall markets. So the the potential effects that this war is giving us right now to the macroeconomic environment hasn't been seen yet. All right. So that's why it's dangerous to actually go risk on right now, especially because if you are a Bitcoin maxi, you are going to think like, oh, Bitcoin should go up right now because Bitcoin is a store of value, which is actually, it is. That's the concept of Bitcoin. But that doesn't mean that people and investors perceive it that way, because otherwise it should be on the roofs like gold has been doing, you know 33% up for gas. Yeah, exactly. I saw that. It's insane, and it can even go up to 50%. Yeah, exactly. Like the best rate right now is going long on patience. Exactly. Like it's crazy right now. It's crazy. Inflation is high. The bails out the Fed rate cuts narrative. So probably, yeah, exactly. Inflation is high. We are going into war. Fed rate cuts narrative is not quite good right now, and I see housing value on the U.S. is going through the roofs once again. Even higher levels than on 2008. People are not even able to sell their houses. We are building some potential macroeconomic collapse eventually. It's not going to happen overnight, but if things don't change quickly, we might be heading there, and that's completely risk off environment. Okay. Do you read the book Mind Over Market, which is related to your strategy action market theory? No, I haven't, brother. And actually, thanks for sharing. I'm going to go check it out. If it's related to my strategy, it's definitely worth for me taking the time to do it. Thank you for sharing, brother. US is hungry to hunt down the oil refineries just to cover up the debt. Trump is that type, though. Well, I would say they are not necessarily hungry for Iran oil. That might be one of the reasons they are doing this. But this whole strategic move that Trump took from the start of the year is insane. If you look at it, Trump took Venezuela's oil on January. They already knew they were going to attack Iran. Why they took Venezuela's oil? Because they knew that if attacking Iran is going to essentially close the Hormuz Stretch, which is essentially going to build up an oil crisis to the U.S. if they didn't have Venezuela oil. So right now, the U.S. is chilling on oil. They have Venezuela oil, and actually, they recently sent like millions of oil barrels to the U.S. So believe me that I'm thinking about it in a strategic way. It's genius what they did, right? They went for Venezuela's oil first, then they attacked Iran, which they knew is going to cause an oil crisis, right? I don't think the US only narrative to go for Iran is only for the oil itself. And remember that US debt is kind of imaginary because they can essentially print more money and pay that debt. That's how the monetary financial system works. It's based upon debt. So debt is never going to end, and it's only going to go higher. And that's why the monetary system is the current monetary system that we are built upon. This society is not sustainable, right? So that's kind of my thoughts on your commentary, brother. Yeah, one of the reasons it's obviously oil, but is not necessarily uh, the main one. You know, so looking at Bitcoin right now, um, maybe Trump wanted to reduce 35 trillion debt. Yeah, like it might happen, but all the economic indicators are just going crazy right now. So we need to be definitely careful. Like we can make all of the assumptions we can think about it. We are not the ones taking the decisions, guys. Neither the ones running the market. So um, all we have in control is what we do, not what the market's doing, not what Trump might do, not what Iran or Israel might do. So if the only thing that I can control is myself, then I need to be taking much more careful of the decisions I'm going to take into the market. That's it. You know. So if the weekly chart continues this way, essentially on Bitcoin, what it's essentially telling us, give me a second. All right, so this is going to be a weekly zone, not daily. All right. Now let me go ahead and put didn't work. Volume profile for the weekly range. Oh, here is, but this is the BWAP. I want this on the daily, and we're going to set volume profile over here, also for the daily chart, because we want to see what's the current range formation. So the daily chart is also bearish, like lower lower high over here, daily volume level, which is aligned with the overall value area high, and daily lower low, which is aligned with the value area low. All right. We are building a zone, a very important zone here, which can also be considered a cluster order block. This can be an order block, guys, for me. Daily. So daily zone also can be cluster. Okay. Recently, we had a rejection from the value area low. Unfortunately, this rejection was in high related volume, but that doesn't necessarily needs to be that way. We can clearly see that the VWAP is going down. That's the pressure that we're having right now. Um, this daily zone, which is this daily cluster, is located within the weekly zone that I highlighted here. So this is a pretty important zone for rejection on Bitcoin if we might be going higher. It's also a low volume node located at. We are currently ranging within this high volume node that can easily be seen within the 4 hour range. So this is going to be the 4 hour volume profile. We can clearly see which is the range we are trading within right now. Okay, and also within the BWAP on the 4 hour chart. Let me set it for the 4 hour. Okay, so we have been rejecting the BWAP quite a few times already. That's interesting because the market is trying to go towards the value area high and it's not even reaching that level. Okay, BWAP rejection, BWAP rejection, BWAP rejection. High volume node, range formation. What are we trading? We are not going anywhere, guys. Unless we eventually break out above these ranges, we are not going anywhere. And this is, for me at least, completely untradeable. I'm not going to trade here because I know that I might be getting fucked. Every time I'm going long, the market is going lower. Every time I'm going short, the market is going higher. So until we don't have a proper breakout and confirmation of this breakout from this range formation, don't count on me on trading Bitcoin at all. Okay. Now this range is going to open opportunities to trade certain altcoins as well. Okay. And we're also going to go through gold to see if we're going to have any potential gold setup that you guys can also trade on Bybit or Clio using HyroTrader, right? JK trades 70K is an absolutely sell zone due to gamma hedging and other order flow auction reasons. Okay, in my opinion, for a strong shift, we need 70K, 80K to be accepted and trade higher. Till then, this can be completely hawkish. Exactly. So we have 70K to 80K zone around. That's what you mean. Perfect. That's the weekly zone we're heading. This is the daily zone that the market might be pushing towards, trying to catch some early buyers that might get trapped. That's also in a scenario that we're looking. So remember, guys, that when I was talking about USDT, I don't know what happened here. Why is this not showcasing my drawings? Oh, there you go. So remember about the USDT, USDC dominance scenarios I was talking about. So we either do this, okay, or we either do this. All right. Now, these two scenarios are going to build up two scenarios for Bitcoin on the weekly chart. So we either, if USDT dominance is going to push higher, we are going to go lower and possibly reject this weekly zone, which is going to be around 60K, which by building a failed breakout below that area, a failed action below that area is going to push the narrative for Bitcoin to possibly recover a bit. It's not going to be something that, oh, we are in a bull market again. Not necessarily, but this is definitely going to open the doors for some bullish pressure. All right. If USDT dominance is going to get lower and push towards this zone without even testing the 12.55 percentage zone, all right, Bitcoin might be headed towards the 70K, 80K zone, in which, if people are looking at moving averages, which most of them are, the VWAP is a moving average, but is calculated based on volume. People are going to get trapped longing above the VWAP, longing above the moving averages, thinking that Bitcoin might start going bullish. And all of this build up in liquidity here of people going long, all right, taking into consideration that you are going into a weekly resistance level and that USDT dominance is going into a weekly support level, you don't want to go long there, guys. Even if it feels like it, please don't do it until it's even confirmed, because I'm not saying this is absolutely a rejection zone. Okay, I'm aligned with what JK is saying, which is this is an absolutely sell zone, like between 70K and 80K. Yeah, because this is the level of where most resistance is located at, right? But that doesn't mean that if we have some good fundamental thing, Bitcoin can break out above it and actually go towards 100K. It can happen, guys. Okay, but if it is going to be an absolutely sell zone, don't get caught. All right, and believe me, guys, I'm telling you this, and most likely we're going to make a reel about this and post it in Higher Traders Instagram. If Bitcoin is going to push to this level and you are going long without confirmation, don't do that, guys, because most likely you are going to be the ones that are going to get trapped here. Okay, so I'm just putting this as a heads up for you guys. Obviously, if your strategy says that you should go long there, well, just follow your strategy now. But from my side, I'm not doing that because that's an absolutely, like JK is saying, like this is an absolutely sell zone, and I don't want to get trapped there. To be honest, I will be looking for shorts over there. Give me a second. I think this. All right, just let me erase this. Okay, guys. So in terms of setups, you know, the 4 hour chart is also. If we go to the 4 hour, like if we want to look for some intraday setups. Oh no, this is the daily VWAP. I'm looking for the 4 hour VWAP. All right. So if we go to the 4 hour chart, Let me reduce a bit of this percentage of the box. So the market structure for the 4 hour chart is also bearish. See here, current lower highs around where the daily lower high is located. So it's not much of importance. And current lower low, it's around here. So we are trading a range within a range. The high volume node, which is the market reliant in price action right now, it's currently the one that is important because we're trading within the low value area and high value area within this high volume node. We recently went down, possibly testing 62K lower low level for the 4 hour chart, but unfortunately it wasn't actually tested. And for me, guys, my strategy implies that these levels need to be interacted with. All right, it's not a zone; it's a precise price. Is a precise price point that I'm looking for price to interact with, and it didn't interact it, so I didn't went long on this. Okay. Let me see some questions. Do you think the 4 year cycle is actually dead now or just taking a break? Well, the 4 year cycle, it's fully dependent on the halvings, right? So I don't think that halvings are dead. That halvings might bring some bullish pressure because of essential, like supply and demand dynamics of what how Bitcoin is built. The problem with the 4 year cycle and the halving is that 21 million Bitcoins is not longer the full supply on Bitcoin. Why is that? You might tell like, no, there's only going to be 21 million real Bitcoins out there overall until 2140, I think, but that doesn't mean that people cannot invest in Bitcoin using ETFs, which is amplifying the supply artificially, futures, etc. So all of these TradFi products are making Bitcoin supply and the 4 year cycle completely different. So that those are my thoughts on it. I'm not saying it's dead. It might be dead. It's too easy. We like people just need to follow this cycle and they will make millions of dollars. It's too easy. And markets are not easy and they are not supposed to be that easy. All right. It might be over. Who knows? But we are just following the technicals. If we are having some bullish signs during this 4 year cycle, then we might be taking some trades. That's it. I recently read on Polymarket 55% think that BTC go 60K or below, then it go to 80K levels. All right, yeah. So those are like just like Polymarket is actually funny. I have been using it, and uh, I will start using it more because these prediction market thing are very interesting, guys, and they're very interesting on how you can actually approach these prediction markets and make profits out of the markets, looking like for a hedge on your positions. Because it's like options. If you know where the market might be headed, but you are not having a technical indicator telling you to enter the market, you can set options. You can use options to hedge that position itself and profit from that direction without even getting into futures market. So these prediction markets are kind of the same approach in which Bitcoin is telling you like what is the probability of Bitcoin going to 60K. So it's a 55% thing. That means that you are getting possibly, let me check actually. Let's go. Bitcoin. Let's check for uh, uh, Bitcoin will hit. Let's go and search for Polymarket Bitcoin bets. You were mentioning about 55% think that Bitcoin go to 60K. All right. Let's see for that 60K, but So you see these bets like Bitcoin up or down, March 3, 7:55 p.m., 25 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. ET. So these are basically options, daily options that you can bet on, and if you are right, you are going to be able to profit from it. You know, it's going to build. It's built different in terms of the profit that you're making, definitely, but you can definitely make profit of it. So I don't see this Bitcoin 60K. Bitcoin will hit 60K or 80K first. So essentially, these are two bet sided. 60K first is giving 69 cents. So for every dollar you put in, you earn 49 cents, 45 cents. So that's a 45%. Um, so that's a 45% return of investment for every single dollar that you put into this bet right now. It's currently at 70K. So the 60K side is at 68% chance, and the 80K side is at, it's not showing me. Well, for $1, you are basically doing 2x, 3x for $1. Yeah, poly market. So yeah, I was just showcasing you guys. It's crazy. So it's to 80K. So there's a 33% chance on Bitcoin hitting 80K first before 60K. So this can help as options, because you can essentially bet both sided here, and if you win the bet on 80K, essentially you will be making 3x of your money of what you lost on the 60K bet, which is actually higher percentage. And why is it higher percentage? Is essentially because fear right now is actually higher than it was before because of Iranian U.S. Iran war and etc. So this is the chances of Bitcoin going lower are actually higher than the chances of Bitcoin going higher right now. Okay, so yeah, this is just an example, guys. It's not like I'm betting on this. I might be doing it, but that would be a show for the later. All right, so this is like for my Bitcoin breakdown. I'm not seeing any setup, guys. All right, let's go to gold here. It's interesting because if gold actually builds this top formation on the weekly chart, it's going to be good for Bitcoin overall. This is the previous higher high. This is a failed action. We have one, two candles closing above this higher high, but we haven't had that third candle. And we still have 5 days for this candle to close. Actually, less, because you should be looking this at from the futures chart. And from the futures chart, we already have one, two, three. Yeah, so the structure is different from here. So the futures chart on gold, this is the current higher low. And this is going to be the current high that gold is trading within right now. No way. I have some levels here. Okay. Yeah, so that's why it's important to see like the chart from the gold futures. Now, if you don't have the gold futures, then you can track like the gold spot CFD, which is essentially telling us the same. Previous higher high, one, two, three candles, closing above, high here, low here. So the XAUT, the gold chart on Tether perpetuals is the one that it's actually wrong. And let me check something. What about PAXG? Yeah, PAXG is kind of the same like USDT. All right, let me see. Based on my personal speculation, Bitcoin now more established is not that asset which does 100x anymore. Yeah, definitely. That's completely true. It's more of institutional adopted now, correct. Heard that Jane Street, 10 a.m. cell manipulation, likewise. All right, possible, but that's true, brother. Bitcoin is now more an institutional asset. It's not that it's not people's asset anymore, but institutions are getting into Bitcoin, are getting into crypto, and is not longer the asset that goes 100x. That's completely true. But it's not because it can, but it's essentially because it needs much more money to do that kind of moves. You know, right now, Bitcoin market cap is currently sitting at, let's check, Bitcoin market cap is sitting at 1.3 trillion, right? For it to go to 120K, it needs to double that. It's 2.6 trillion market cap in order to for Bitcoin to go towards those prices. Now imagine going to, everyone expecting Bitcoin going to 500K. It might be possible in the future, 1 million per Bitcoin. It might be possible for Bitcoin, but you just need to do the math, for Bitcoin to go towards, if we click here and we check for the market cap on Bitcoin when it was, okay, oh, there's not. All right, so we're talking 60K only for Bitcoin to go for 600K per Bitcoin. We're talking about 10x the current market cap. That's $10 trillion. And now some people might say like, oh yeah, but gold is a 300 trillion market cap market. The forex market moves $5 trillion per day. Yeah, that's true, but when that money is coming for the crypto assets, I don't know yet. Even if institutions are pushing to do so, that money is not yet coming for that market because adoption is not yet fully happening. So I completely agree with you, JK. You pay more attention to CME gaps or on-chain structure like exchange flows these days. I would say I pay more attention to ETF flows rather than exchange flows. And CME gaps are also important for Bitcoin as well. BTC. Yeah, exactly. So we have a gap around 80K. That's confluent with what we are seeing on terms of resistance and support, and on the normal perpetual futures chart. We already filled this gap. We already filled this one. We have a liquidity gap here, but it's not as important. Yeah, so the most important gap right now on the CME chart is around 80K. So that's adding more confluence to our rejection zone for Bitcoin around that level specifically, without even needing to go into the CME chart. That's why I like this strategy because it's very confluent with the overall scenario. JK Rect plus it's more liquid now. For me, that's a good thing because we know trade a real asset, not just some liquid, highly speculative shit coin that reacts to every Trump post. Yeah, exactly, and that's good, and that's what we are seeing right now. Bitcoin is getting less and less responsive to this kind of events. Iran and U.S. war is a big thing, and Bitcoin keeps ranging, and it's trading in prices that it was trading since the starts of February. It's been a month and we're still here with all of the things that have happened. So that's good. Exactly what you are saying, JK. We're trading a real asset now. Institutional are hungry for returns and they currently focus on AI and crypto only. Possibly yes, brother. Possibly yes. All right. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys today. So I'm definitely going to do the giveaway right now. Let's start. It's been already 55 minutes. I don't want to take more of your time, guys. It's been going good. What do you guys think about today's stream? Let me know your thoughts. I would like to hear your feedback as well in order for me to make it better, possibly add some stuff. We can go through more assets. Whatever you guys are feeling like we should be showcasing you guys today. It's important to me. So let me know what's your feedback, guys. I will be giving up away 3x 5K challenges for you guys. So let's see in the chats who have been more active. So I definitely see one, which is JK. Uh, you are winning one 5K challenge on HyroTrader, brother. Please hit me up on my DMs. Thanks, guys. Hit me up on my DMs, JK. My Twitter profile is Bust Decode. You guys can follow me there. Okay. Hit me up on my DMs on Twitter, please, and I will send you your account, brother. It was good, Hassan. Thank you very much, brother. Bodyman, thank you, brother. Who else has been very active today? I see. Yeah, so we have AG relaxing and meditation. All right, so that's let me put the winners here for the giveaway. So the first winner is going to be JK Trades Crypto. Second winner for the giveaway is going to be AJ Relaxing and Meditation. Well, you know who you are. And let's pick the third winner, which based it upon activity. I would either say it's Hamza or Bartholomew. Bartholomew. Fred Clinton, Elias. You guys, now you're being active, but when I was requesting for some questions, you guys were just rambling around, you know? So, yeah, JK and SN. Yeah, so the third winner is going to be definitely Bartholomew. All right, guys. So here it is. These are the giveaway winners for today. All right, guys, don't be sad if you didn't win this time. Make sure to stay active. There's going to be a giveaway for sure on Thursday stream with David Perk. So make sure to tune in. He's more of a scalper, you know. So if you're looking for quick trades, he's a professional trader. I know him personally, amazing guy. So we're going to do giveaways every session, all right? So don't feel bad if you didn't win the account today. That's amazing, brothers. Thank you very much for being here. Elias, I was just watching. Yeah, brother, but you know, like, let's see the activity on the chats. If you have questions, if you want to say something, you know, like, so let's look at this chart. You know, let's stay active. Let's stay active on the chat so we can interact and make these streams even bigger. Make these streams even, you know, like for everyone to want to be here for a conversation. You know, that's the thing. All right, guys. So nice one, nice one. All right, guys. So JK, AJ, relax, and Bath Olomu, however it's said, brother. Please DM me on my Twitter, and we are going to set up your giveaway account. All right, guys. So if you guys are trading crypto futures, if you guys are trading gold right now with this volatility, gold is good for trading, actually intraday trading and scalping. Make sure to use the code BAST15. All right, you can check it out at the right corner. Make sure to use code Bast 15. Only for today, guys, you are going to have 15% discount on all of the challenges for HyroTrader. Only for today. So if you don't use this code today, you're not having this discount until the next week. All right. So make sure that if you guys are following me, if you guys want to support these streams, use the code BAST15 and hit me at the DM. If you purchase, maybe I will be adding you to my private chats in order for you guys to discuss on a daily basis. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Four winners. Possibly. No, right now, no. I'm only allowed to do 3x, brother. So you say like you can win an account on Thursday or possibly next Tuesday if you're still active. All right, Hamza. Next time, brother. JK, thank you, brother, for your words. All right, thank you very much. Yeah, Hamza. Next time that will be for sure. If you guys are going to be active here, I will make sure for HyroTrader to give a lot of giveaways during these sessions. All right, guys. So thank you very much for being here. Stay tuned. Make sure to attend Thursday David Perk intraday scalping sessions with him. It's crazy trader. So make sure to attend and see you on the chats. If you guys have some questions about what we discussed today, if you want to keep chatting, see you on HyroTrader Discord. Make sure to tune in there. I will be active there as well. And for the winners of the giveaway, make sure to hit me a DM and we will set up your accounts. All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.